Smith & Wesson has an impressive catalog of new guns they've come out with over the past few years, and today I'm going to be showing you another one. This one may be truly groundbreaking or game-changing, which is thrown around so much that it's become watered down. But today we may have a pistol that actually meets that criteria. This is the M&P 5.7. Let's go ahead and open it up. It comes with a hard case, of course. Now I want to set the expectations for this video right here. I have not taken this to a range. This is kind of a prologue to our range trip, and I want to see if these features, one in particular, really makes this a groundbreaking 5.7 pistol, or is it just a sales pitch? You know what I mean? So that's my whole goal eventually, once we get it to the range, which it won't be long anyways, is to see how much of a difference this one feature makes on this pistol. Now I do have to thank Smith & Wesson for sending this out so I can tell you my opinions on this gun here. So what you're gonna get is you're gonna get a loader right here, sys loader. You're gonna get the star of the show, the 5.7, and two 22 round magazines. You know, you get your manual and lock and all that stuff. Let's get the box out of the way, bring in the star of the show. 5.7 is a pretty exciting round. It's never gonna take over for 9mm like it was originally intended to do, but some of the ballistic advantages that you get with 5.7, I believe it's here to stay. And the more companies you start to see embrace this, the longer it's gonna be around. The biggest issue with 5.7 right now, honestly, is the cost of the ammo. It is super expensive, but fortunately, Smith & Wesson teamed up with Fiocchi and they sent me a couple of these out. It's not a lot of ammo, but I have some of my own as well. But I mean, you know, you're talking anywhere from $40 a box to $50 a box. I don't even know how much this Fiocchi is. So it's quite expensive, but let's look at the features that make the M&P 5.7. Starting up front, you do have a threaded barrel, 1/2x28, Picatinny rail. It looks like they're switching exclusively to these slide serrations. They're more vertical than the fish scale style serrations of the past. And honestly, they do a great job in allowing you to charge up the gun. I mean, really positive engagement on the slide, charging it up. I'm a fan, more of a fan of these than the fish scale style serrations. They do have kind of a little milled out area back here to aid in charging up the gun as well. Optics cut, you have your anti-glare serrations on top. 3-dot system, so it's just a standard white dot. And it doesn't appear that it's gonna co-witness or anything like that. You have a new flat face trigger, so this is different than even the ones they're putting in the metal series. Now, one issue I've seen with 5.7 pistols specifically that Smith & Wesson addressed kind of in a different way. If you look at the magazine, it's really wide, but it's also slender. So the grip kind of has to mirror that. It's really wide in here, yet very slender. So you kind of have almost the best of both worlds, but I can imagine some people with smaller hands maybe having an issue. But what Smith & Wesson did is the trigger reach is not far at all. So even with smaller hands, you can reach that trigger, get it pulled back, straight to the rear, boom, no issues at all. So you don't have any backstrap options, but the reach to the trigger is really not far at all. So I think it's a pretty good balance, and I think it's gonna fit a lot of people's hands pretty well. Now we have 9 years of content and a community we've built right here on YouTube, and I wanna protect that. So what I've done is made a couple of backups: Utreon, Rumble, and of course Patreon. Now all three of these platforms are pretty great. You get early access through Utreon and Patreon, and you also get unedited videos right off the rip. So anything I can't show right here on YouTube will be on those other platforms as well. Look, I would love to stay right here on YouTube. Hopefully that's what we can do. I'd love for you to join this channel down below, but if something were to happen, we have a couple of lifeboats that we can escape to in case we start to take on water. So I just want to let you know about those. The links are down below. To join is super easy and super cheap to do it as well. Plus you get some pretty cool tier rewards. Plus you got to watch this video and many others pretty dang early just for your support. Big thanks, guys. Now let's get back to the rest of the video and check out some more features on the M&P 5.7. All right, I promise you we're getting to the potential revolutionary part of this gun, but really quick here, reversible magazine release. The texturing, by the way, is not nearly as aggressive as the 2.0s. They've struck a really good balance here, I think, with how aggressive and yet comfortable this is in the hand. The trigger itself is a new flat face trigger, so check it out. Again, the reach is super short. Boom. Brakes, reset, right there. Not too bad at all. Other side of the gun, as you can see, looks pretty good. Kind of unassuming. Hey, it looks like a pistol, right? Not right. Check this out. You have a two-piece barrel in this design, and this is what I'm really excited to test out and show you. Let me break the gun down here really quick. So for all of you on Patreon or Rumble or Utreon or wherever you're watching this, you actually get to see the breakdown of this gun. You guys are special. Not on YouTube though, because YouTube doesn't allow it. Not because I don't love you guys. All right, so you pop the pin out. Super easy to pop this out. I mean, literally, you pull it back to here. You have this little divot. And I mean, you have a little pin right there. And when I first saw that, if you look at it, it looks like it has that, man, that clip looks like it came from the TT33 on the Tokarev. That's exactly what that looks like. And man, that was a pain in the ass to get out, but that's not the case, right? You pull it back, cheat it back just a little bit, and you just push it through. I mean, literally, it's so easy to do. So that's cool. And then I just kind of work the slide back and work it off of the frame like that. Stainless steel guide rod, captive. Now, for the exciting part of this pistol. The tempo barrel design. So this is a two-piece barrel, and they designed it like this to aid in the extraction to make this a super reliable 5.7 pistol. So not only one where you get the ballistic advantage of 5.7, but you also get reliability that you would expect as well. So that's why they've designed this, and essentially what you have, it's got like this rotary lock system, and I think I actually have this backwards in here. But regardless, what it's designed to do is you have a port. See, this kind of looks, it looks like a piston, right? Once the bullet passes this area, the gas will then come up through the port right here and then allow the gun to cycle correctly. So it keeps the barrel in a stationary position until that gas passes this port, and then it will go through the ejection, extraction process, and all of that. Pretty neat design, pretty wild looking, and something we don't typically see, and that's why it's kind of exciting. This is the barrel, right? This is where the rifling is. I know y'all probably can't see that, and this houses the barrel right here. This is also where it's threaded, is on this housing piece. So if we put this back together, and whoever put this together at Smith & Wesson, I love you guys, but they really overdid it as far as the grease on this thing. So that's kind of how it's designed right there. And I'll put it back into the slide so y'all can see. Another thing about the M&P 5.7, it has an internal hammer as opposed to a striker. So all of these features, and by the way, if you didn't believe me about it being caked up, yeah, check that out. Now, maybe it's because of the rotary design. I really haven't looked into it that far, but I really doubt it needs to be that caked up to be able to run. So, of course, I will look into that before I fire my first round, but I think they just kind of slapped some grease in there and made sure that it was good to go. All right, you got to put it in the right way, of course. Don't be like me. Recoil spring right here sits nicely just like that. Right? Rails, stainless steel components, everything that you would expect quality-wise from Smith & Wesson. One thing I noticed is once you get it to this point right here, right past the ejector, you have the trigger bar right here, and you just got to push down on that little piece right there on the trigger bar. Just right there. Push it back. Boom. Then we pull this back like so. Pop that back in. So that's how you would perform basic maintenance. You can see your lightning cuts up here to lighten up the slide to further aid in extraction. They want this to be a super reliable, soft shooting 5.7 gun. And so that's what I hope that we get. That's first look, man. They come with or without a safety, of course, like Smith & Wesson pretty much always does. So if you want that option, they have that as well. That's it for right now. There's not much more I can talk about on the 5.7 until we get it to the range. Make sure that you're subscribed with notifications on if you want to catch that video as soon as it comes out. Love to hear what your opinion is of the 5.7 so far. What do you think about it? Big thanks again to all of you that support what I do. And here's a special thanks to some of y'all that support me right here and on Patreon. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down. Three misses. That penis target is just swinging away. Let's get the competitor and try that one.